Good day, race fans, and welcome to the Intentional Wreck Podcast, the podcast made by race fans for race fans, from the casuals to the lifelong gearhead. My name is Jeff, and I am here just with Finn this week. Corey is going to be out because he had some personal business that he's going to take care of, but Finn and I will take you through with a fun episode. We got plenty to talk about tonight. To get rid of some housekeeping here, please make sure you check us out on YouTube and Spotify under the name Intentional Rec, and you're likely watching us on Twitch, but just in case, look for us on Twitch under the name Intentional Rec as well. And now on Wednesday nights, you'll be able to catch Finn doing commentary for the Moonlight Racing League on Wednesday nights. So please make sure you go and check that out. And for anybody from the Racing League that's tuned in with us tonight, we're happy to have you. Thanks for coming, and we hope that you enjoy. So, from what I understand, you had your first real race with the league this past week.
Yeah, man.
How did that go for you?
A lot. And fortunately, like, while there were difficulties on the technical side, none interfered with live racing, and everybody was real gracious about it. I mean, it was a fun race, right? Like, you know me, and if you've watched this podcast, you know how much I abhor plate racing. Right. There's not much that turns me off in NASCAR than plate racing, and that's fine. Like, it's just not everybody's thing. But for what it's worth, it does provide the same exact entertainment in the real world, in the virtual racing world, as it does in the real world. And it was a good race. Let me just go through some of the quick technical challenges. First of all, there was an issue with rendering. So the big thing is with my setup is I go from racing, and then now I'm not using my big screen for racing anymore. I'm using my big screen for data, and it's really cool. I mean, it felt like a control room, right? I've got a thing up here that I can click on a driver's name. It changes to that driver. This is a separate application. I see all the lap times. I see all that information. All of the camera work, I've got that mapped to the Stream Deck. So jumping cameras was smooth, I felt like, and I'm going to show you some cool stuff and maybe some cool shots that, again, just timing-wise in the race. And as I'm learning the fluidity of it all, and the big thing is by myself, right? Just like not having to have to talk and maintain the story while clicking. At Daytona it was a little easier in that I didn't have to change a bunch of drivers and camera angles. Just kind of focus on the pack and let that live. Next week at Texas is going to be a challenge when I need to be tracking lap times. So different things to matter, right? The lap times matter. Second place, is he quicker than first? How much? Are we walking him? Are we watching that guy that's in 5th and 6th? Finding those battles throughout the track when I can only view what I'm looking at. So I think I'm gonna rely on that technology, but like a wreck would occur, and because there's so many cars on the screen that it's trying to render, it would glitch out. Fortunately, it wasn't glitching out in a like audio annoying way, but just like I couldn't watch replays of the wrecks, or only a slick full of wrecks I was able to after I kind of made some setting changes on the fly. So a struggle there, but no issues with the live racing. Got some really good shots. A great race. Controversial. I wouldn't say controversial ending, but there was some controversy in the league chat, and I was, that's always fun. Like, the more those guys get into it, the more fun it's going to be.
Yeah.
And we were able to kind of, there was some crazy stuff occurring. One guy, I was following his name. I talked about him last time. Ty Kilo, was excited about him. He made his way up to the front. Came down pit road, he money shifted down to first gear and blew the engine. So, like, he killed it stuff. There was a trio of guys that were really, really strong. In fact, let me go ahead and show you a little bit of this race. I got a really good shot of, it was around the 30, this is where it was. So, I'm watching this 31 Penske, or Pennzoil, sorry, not Penske. Whew, caught myself. Of Daniel Smith. I think he goes by Plant. I don't know exactly what he goes by in the chat, but I actually jumped to the wrong car at first, but I kind of caught him moving up in the pack. So I switched to his in car, and I mean, when we talk about intensity, right? So here's the call, here's the thing, raw for you. There's a 0-31, and then there's the 31 of Daniel Smith. Oh, he's going to make a crazy move to the outside as there's a big checkup. Okay, so for what it's worth,
that was a snap cut.
We're watching, look at this. I mean, this man is absolutely carving through this field. He said, all right, all the competitors. But the audio is really, really low. So I'm going to turn the audio up just a bit on the system side so that everybody, yeah, it's at 34%. Yeah, let me turn that up and back that up a little bit more. I don't know how big of it was, how loud it was for you, but yeah, just watching this, you never know if somebody's running the right or wrong number here. Looks like that. Yep. Okay, there's a 0-31, and then there's the 31 of Daniel Smith. Oh, he's going to make a crazy move to the outside as there's a big checkup. Okay, so for what it's worth, there was 231s. We're watching, and look at this. I mean, this man is absolutely carving through this field. He said, all right, all the competitors are out. It's time to move. As we're watching this 31, look very primed. Denny Hamlin, he's right behind the 28 of Amato, who's going to cut
look at this
the middle
right here.
Oh, it's getting tight.
Oh, my goodness.
Amato makes it through.
No way.
We're 3 wide on board. Oh, nobody's lifting. No one's giving an inch. Oh, the 31. Good on his steps. Keeping it low. Absolute chaos on that. So as this just kind of plays in the background while we're chatting. So, I mean, yeah, just trying to cover those camera angles and getting shots like that. Like when I did little things, that worked out, right? It was really cool to go to that car and then it was chaos, right? Little things you've seen in NASCAR broadcast, going like restarting on board with somebody during a restart. Hey, let's go to the guy 5th in line and see what his view is like. You know what I mean? Did a little stage interview. I interviewed the wrong stage winner. So they told me the stage was at lap 45. There was a caution at lap 40. So in their chat, they agreed that that was the stage caution. So nobody told me this. So what happens is the guy goes, the lap, so they go green at lap 44, and then I guess immediately at 45, a caution came out. I didn't see that was because somebody spun, but I assumed, caution on lap 45 must be for the stage. So I'm interviewing the guy, and he's like, he like went along with it, but he definitely came across like, I didn't win that stage, like going back and listening to it. But you see here, like just letting the camera angles go like this, just chatting while it goes. Let's talk. So that guy 31, he got hooked up with the 23 of Rayshawn and then the 18 of Joey Steers. So we had this like trio that were just, I mean, they were carving. And then green flag pit stops came out. They ended up stretching. So everybody's kind of pitting. They're going through a green flag cycle, which is kind of unheard of at these tracks and this kind of platform. And then they caught the rest of the field, and then they were coming down pit lane, and chaos occurred as these guys were trying to. So there are like strong 3 trio for the first kind of third of the race, kind of washed themselves out. They were kind of irrelevant. And then the 66, he's on the outside leading at that moment. He was kind of the mainstay up front. And then let me see if I can find this dude. A guy named Michael Dank, he's a rookie in the league. He got hooked up with his teammate who was a lap down. And when I tell you, let me see if I can't find. All right, he's already made the move there. So here it is. So we're 23 to go, and you see back here, right? So we got 5 cars on this outside lane. And as you know, everybody's on this track. That outside lane can work, but you need guys. You need a lot of guys, and you need pushers, right? But this
It also looks like the field had thinned out a little bit by the time you got to this point in the race.
Yes, it had certainly started to thin out. About 16 cars were on the lead lap by the end of this thing. I mean, you can kind of see there's more, but especially that outside lane. So these guys aren't really connected, and this guy is Michael Dank being pushed by his teammate Peterson, who's a lap down, just trying to get his lap back. Watch this move. Is the bottom. You can protect the bottom. It is illegal to pass below the double yellow line. They go outside. Cornwell gets cycled back because it's the 970 who pushes his way up. I think so. A little block by the 2. They pop outside. But any car can
building
lines. They go
here.
3 wide on the outside lane. Oh, the 66 get a little bit bent out of shape on the exit of that corner. We've got 3 wide. We got 2 lap cars on the outside. I thought they were lappers because they had just been nowhere. It just registered. He's in the lead now. Okay, so it's not a lap car. The 970. So then they cleared themselves to the bottom lane. And then eventually cleared themselves bottom lane. 970 wins this race, man. And he just didn't give it up. His teammate even got shuffled. He had a point on a final restart where the 3 cars behind him on the bottom lane were all teammates, and he was able to hold them off and hold off that 66 for the win. So for what it's worth, fantastic finish, fantastic race. Thought it went well. Could do a little bit better on the Rex side of things, but I'm excited. I'm excited for Texas. The skill level in this league is definitely solid, and they're all in the very same skill level. So that means it's going to be good competitive racing. So there was a little controversy, I guess Danks and his teammate didn't really earn a lot of the league's respect. There was some chatter He's actually 6th in points. He won the first race, and he's 6th in points. He took a big point penalty, but it was pulling out of line on a restart. It wasn't anything he did wrong.
Okay.
He pulled out of line at a restart. So I'm the neutral party, so I'm not going to give a thought on whether or not it was petty or whatever or not or within the rules. I personally, I don't take these like, again, guys, I take my college football league so seriously. So you know me with all my 4th down rules. So I'm not mocking anybody that takes things seriously, but
No,
I
you're
definitely
just calling the action.
Yeah, I definitely didn't.
You're telling us what it is.
Right. But certainly a fun time, and I'll be back. So I'm all for beef. Let's just be clear here. We're gonna be talking about the beef. All right. Here's the biggest mistake I made. This
is the beef we're going through right now. It's Finn versus Finn.
Yeah, Finn versus Finn. No, this was a rough one. This is a rough one because it's like, oh, Finn, you had a great moment to like. So what was happening is we were caution like 17 to go. I'm not gonna show this on the screen because I don't want to relive this moment. But I'm going through the cars. I'm like, oh, let's take a look at these paint schemes these guys got out here on a Wednesday night. So I'm going through and I'm seeing a Miller Lite paint scheme. I'm like, all right, that's pretty. Little Crown Royal. Kurt Busch throwback. Okay. I'm going through the schemes.
I was gonna say I love that MGD, like that black and yellow.
Yeah,
genuine draft scheme. That's classic.
Yep. The guy who won was in a pink Goodwrench, car. Like there were some pretty cars out there, and then there was one. It's the 988 of Kyle Lynott, and I couldn't read. There was like some blurred stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Not blurred, but like. It's a very modern-ish design, very sharp edges, a lot going on, and it's a very, I'm trying to preface this in the best way, very neon car, a lot of colors, a lot of explosions, and I'm in the moment.
It's loud.
I'm doing a lot of things. It's definitely a loud scheme. And I couldn't see the first word, but I saw the second word, which was suicide. And I just wasn't registering things quick enough. And I didn't say anything wrong, but I was like, and again, if you've been in the online realm, you'll know that people make ridiculously racist, derogatory, slur-based things. And I don't think in that moment, that's not what I was doing, but all I could think of was like, I don't know what this is, and I see a very strong word there, so I'm going to move on. So I just moved on, right? Well, Kyle sent me a nice message. He wasn't mad at me or anything, but he let me know that, that he lost somebody close to him to suicide. That what I was missing was the word fuck, but the C was replaced with the ribbon, a sideways ribbon of the suicide awareness ribbon.
Cool.
Go. So, no, go. Sorry, my daughter's in the room. You're 7 now. You're not supposed to be interrupting my podcast. that was a 3-year ago thing. So, obviously looking back at it, and you know what, because I want to bring it up. I'm going to put it over my face out of respect for what the paint scheme was. I do want to bring it up and show it because it is a very, there it is. What's it after? Yeah. So
okay. I can see where I can see where you would have gotten confused, especially because I see
FU, and then I see the word suicide, and I'm like, I don't know, I'm just not registering, okay? And it looks like that cup from the 90s.
Yeah.
But 988, that's the, I guess that's related to the suicide hotline.
That's the suicide hotline, yeah.
Right, so 88. So I wanted to highlight that message that he's putting out there. Very cool of him. Obviously under horrible circumstances, but we are all pro suicide awareness. As a veteran, the whole what is it, the 23 project, or I can't remember the exact thing, but like 23 veterans commit suicide every day. So definitely something that's important. So I'm glad he got that message out and he chooses to use his platform for that. I just felt bad not being able to highlight that naturally in the moment and instead being like hesitant. Again, it wasn't the end of the world. Nobody really digged at me, but he had mentioned it. He was like, hey, my sponsor. And I was like, I didn't know, dude. So we're all good. He's not mad at me. I did spin him out at Pocono in a league, but that was his fault. He didn't clear off of the tunnel turn. So, all right. That is the virtual racing minute. You won victory lane this week, buddy?
I did, and it's starting to. We were in our group chat talking about it earlier, and the run I'm on, I'm not gonna. I don't know if I jinxed it with this.
You are the Jimmy Johnson of victory lane.
I did. That's the one GIF I didn't send, but in our group chat, I was sending GIFs out to the rest of us of just like that compilation of LeBron doing just amazing highlights, clips of Jordan, and
it's
Tom
a good
Brady
thing.
flashing his rings and
Listen,
everything else.
it is a good thing you're mentioning this. I'm going to bring this up as soon as your minute's done about you talking about Jordan and LeBron, and I'm going to have a conversation about what that kind of conversation is reminding me of in our world right now.
Okay.
So
that's fine.
You go ahead. You go ahead. So it's your minute, the GOAT of victory lane.
I didn't have I was trying to think about what to go for this particular go round. And just for the sake of going through something different, but anybody else, knows how much I'm just a general sports fan and a big baseball fan anyway. And we're at an interesting time of the year that is, it's good, but it's bittersweet for me. So we had the home run derby last night, and the home run derby was fun to watch. I recommend anybody go back and watch it. It ended up being a really good competition there towards the end, and it was fun. I was really sad to see James Wood not get past the first round because he only knocked 16. And then the advance mark was 17, so it was very close. But it's kind of what happens when you lead off in an event like that. It's, nature of the beast, right? But what I was getting at is we're at this point where tonight we have the All-Star game. Cool, like the All-Star game. I am a sicko when it comes to sports and when it comes to baseball, when it comes to the games I like. So, we are at a point right now where we're at the break, and at about 11 p.m. tonight, there's going to be no baseball until Friday. And that makes me kind of sad. Like I said, there's one game tonight. There was no games yesterday. There's not. I'm somebody that, when I get home from work and when I'm, back, I'm flipping on MLB TV and I'm watching games. And when I'm sitting around, there's nothing going on. I'm seeing what's happening in the league and I'm watching. So I'm just I'm entering a void right now for the next couple of days that I really am not going to know what to do with myself. Because there's that's one of the things I love about baseball season is that whenever there's a void, whenever there's a gap and there's there's, I'm not watching anything or I need to kill some time or whatever, pull out my phone, flip on MLB TV. There's games on, big innings on, something, and I can just kind of keep up with what's going on. I don't have to set my fantasy lineup for the next couple of days, which is part of my morning routine. It's a very weird feeling. So it's weird to use my my victory lane to talk about strange range of emotions that I have. But it also comes with the fact that I'm a neurodivergent person. I thrive on routine. I need some of those things. So there's just I got a lot of weird emotions happening right now in trying to process not having my voice filler because it's such a comfy place.
Yeah.
So but yeah, my victory lane is I love the Derby, love the All-Star game, but also I'm very sad that we're not going to have baseball for the next couple of days. Don't feel bad for me. That's nothing to feel sad for.
Listen, go watch the new Superman. I'm going to go watch it Thursday.
I do plan on checking that out.
So
yes.
I've heard good things there. I've heard Jurassic World's pretty good. I think you went and go saw it. So there's movies to watch. Okay, listen. I'm in a different world. Love Island is done. Love Island season 7 is done. So there's my void. Now, actually, I'm in the same void with college football's out. I was waiting for that. I was in that void for a little bit. When a game that you really want to drop is about to come out, man, you can't find a game you want to play. You know what I mean? And Baldur's Gate is a game I'll go off to. The race, obviously, iRacing is really, really good. But I was just anxious all week. Now the game's out, and I'm like, let's go. All the work. And I don't know if I told you, I chose Utah in my league. I'm Utah this year, the Utes. Utah Utes. So that's going to be sick.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Do we want to talk about Sonoma first?
Did anybody in your league pick BYU? Or are you going to actually get the Holy War?
Dude, I'm going to keep them. I'm going to play them. No, but I think it's hilarious that it's called the Holy War. Definitely going to keep that in there. But Yeah, the jihad against the Mormons is going to occur, without a doubt. But no, I think my closest rival is USC. I wouldn't know what to call it, but that's like the West Coast team. There's a UCLA, there's a USC, there's Arizona State. Those are gonna be good teams. So
Okay. So you
excited
have
to.
like what used to be Pac-12 schools,
Oh
now
yeah,
Big Ten schools. I
we
got you.
we restore the Pac-12.
Okay.
We need 5 conferences in ours.
As it damn well should be.
Right. Right. Oh, shout out Freddie
Yeah.
Freeman going back to Atlanta for the All-Star game. I'm sure he's getting a lot of love.
Yeah.
All right, so I want to talk about that Jordan thing. Let's get into real NASCAR since people are here to listen to real NASCAR, and then we're going to talk about the NASCAR video game because a bunch of news dropped about that, and there's some mixed things to talk about. So you're talking about Michael Jordan, LeBron, and Twitter's bussing the last couple weeks on NASCAR. A lot of opinions about SVG. And this one is not the playoff conversation. We're not going to have the playoff SVG conversation. We're done with that, okay? But
Yeah, it's been done.
People are there's a lot of pearl clutchers of old NASCAR drivers, and there's a lot of people within the scope exclusively of road course racing that sound a lot like Jordan fans trying to defend Jordan versus LeBron's accolades, trying to defend Jeff Gordon against SVG's road racing accolades.
That's funny.
And I have had a blast. I mean, let's just be open and honest here. This is the best road course racer we've ever seen in NASCAR.
Yeah.
I don't even think this should be remotely a controversial
It's elevating the game. Who was it this week?
He has 4 wins. He has 4 wins in 10 starts, dude.
Even Richard Petty got in on the action and started talking about like needing less road courses or like going after.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, man.
Brother.
Like,
so
it's only elevating the sport, guys.
It is only elevating the sport. It is only making these guys realize. Because here's the thing. These guys are obviously motivated. The Larsons, the Bells, the Bushers, the Briscoes, and stuff like that. They're obviously motivated to win in the ovals and then NASCAR. But there's a pride to being one of the best drivers. Like I really think that the driver skill, the wheelman skill, is something that's one of the top things in terms of like I won't say ego, but pride. Those guys want to be known as the best, no doubt. And to have somebody come in and just whoop your ass for 3 straight road course races, just absolutely wipe you down.
Yeah.
I don't think they take kindly to it and that they're cool with it. I don't think they're cool with, because again, this isn't a Hendrick car. This isn't the top guy in a Hendrick car. This is, this top guy in a Trackhouse car. His teammates are 30 seconds behind him. You know what I mean? And both of those guys have road course wins. One of them is one at Sonoma. The other one has a win at Coda. So we got 2 non-chump road course racers in the same equipment, 30 seconds behind him. Okay? The only person that has even remotely made him look mortal was Connor Zilic this weekend, an 18-year-old. Did you watch that?
Yeah, I caught the clips.
Incredible.
I went into this weekend just kind of the same way with Chicago. I was like, I know like how the result is generally going to go.
Right.
But I want to see it because I want to see the greatness and what's going on. But I was a little busy. I didn't get a chance to catch the Xfinity race, so I had to go back and watch the highlights. But yeah, Zilic actually like gave him more of a run for his money than most guys.
Dude, those 2 ran the fastest laps for like 90% of the race, I think it was.
Yeah.
90% of the race, and one of them ran the fastest lap of the race. And on Zilic ran his second fastest lap, which is the 3rd fastest lap of the race, on like lap 32. The same lap he ran that lap, SVG ran the fastest lap of the race, which was like 0.2 faster. Like, it was unreal. They were just taking off from the field. But again, how many times have we seen scenarios where guys take off from the field and then you just can't pass, and then the second place car gets stuck in arrow, and then, he eventually stays about a second behind? Because that's what it was on Sunday. It was Byron about a second and some change behind SVG, unable to close the gap. Anytime he did, SVG picked up the pace, and then everybody else was 7 to 20 seconds behind. But here, Zilic did not let him get away. Now, I think that Zilic is in a better car. I think Zilic is on a better, more established Xfinity crew. That matters. I also think, SVG was running him down and had run him down and was better. I think the fact that he I won't say raced him dirty, but gave him a shove at Chicago, I think made SVG go, okay, this is what I'm going to do. The classical SVG thing, I'm going to get right on his bumper, and we're going to see if the kid flinches. Kid didn't flinch. And I think SVG respected that. Also, part of it is he's only in that ride for Dale Jr., and I don't think they would take kindly to him doing it to Dale Jr.'s top driver 2 races in a row. So
right, exactly.
I think he made a leadership business move, and was raced him. I mean, he still gave him a big shove in the 7, but he didn't like turn him and he didn't like run him over type thing. It was Connor, fantastic race. That kid is on a crazy tear, dude. I think it's like 7. I don't even know, dude. Since he came back from injury, I don't think he's finished outside the top 5. And he has 2 wins. Kid's nuts. He's ready for Cup. At this point, put him in the 99.
Well, so here's like bringing up Zilich. Like, I think this is a great opportunity to acknowledge something about what the things that SVG is doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And how it elevates the sport, because I think Zilich is a great example of that. So right now, like, Zilich is doing fantastic and is obviously like the hottest path to Cup right now is Connor Zilich. Like it's an undeniable like just leap up to the Cup Series, right? But we're talking about a kid that he's not just an oval guy and he's not just a road guy. You have someone who has a bona fide talent and versatility in what he's able to do throughout the NASCAR schedule. Shane Van Gisbergen, yes, we can have conversations about, he's the road course guy, like he's doing his success in road courses, he hasn't quite figured ovals out and stuff like that, right? The way that this elevates the sport is that the other guys that are coming up and the drivers that are going to start making their way through the pipeline and they're going to start making their way over towards NASCAR, when they see what SVG does, it opens the door for guys who generally would race on the road.
Yeah.
And say, wait a second, there's a spot for me to go and compete over here. And it gives me an opportunity to learn how to run this oval and make myself more of a versatile driver.
Yeah.
So I might want to go in here and give this thing a shot. And you get a kid like Zilich, who's on his way, who is versatile, who can run on road courses, who can go and finish top 10s on ovals, who can compete when you we'll see what happens in Cup with what kind of equipment he gets.
Right.
But like, this is a perfect example of like the direction NASCAR can and should be heading.
Right.
And if you are one of these people that is trying to go and discount the accomplishments of what SVG is doing, in my opinion, you're not seeing the forest for the trees.
No.
And you're not understanding the fact that getting somebody like this in this sport elevates the sport because it forces everybody else to be better. And if you're not watching what he's doing, trying to elevate your own game, you're holding yourself back and you're going to get left behind.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. And seeing like Red Bull back in NASCAR is cool.
Yes.
You know, like bringing those athletes and bringing those other, things, bringing in sponsorship in a natural way, right? I don't know Zilich's background, if he's like a Nepo, kind of got a lot of money. I'm sure, everybody's got some kind of money behind him in some facet, but like, we got Quadlock, who is a sponsor of SVG and the V8 Supercar series, and they're coming over. And, shoot, how long until, McLaughlin, Scotty goes, okay, I can do this. You know what I mean? Like, and get him in a one-off Penske ride, and let's get Scotty in here racing some Cup and
right.
Or an Xfinity race, and we're gonna have Connor in Cup at the Glen. So I'm excited to watch that because, again, that's a track where a lot of guys are good at this series. Everybody kind of said going into this week, oh, well, this is a track all the NASCAR guys race on a lot, so SVG is going to be a little bit closer. Yeah, okay. That didn't happen. But Watkins Glen, I do think that will apply, and I think that's because there's less turns and less technicals to that race. And Watkins Glen is going to be more of there's a lot of straights, so it's going to be power of the car, and it's just a lot more places where you can kind of bully somebody, right? And be rough. Whereas in Sonoma, with just the limited passing lanes and things like that, I just don't think. Now, I still think SVG is the favorite, but seeing Zilich in there, who's going to run? Okay, cool. Buescher had found his way up to the front, so. That's super exciting. So, a fun set of races. Shout out to Briscoe. Had a good second place finish. I know Corey's not here, but listen, that 19 car is locked in.
He was there, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
if there's anybody that's priming themselves for, making their way towards a run towards the end of the season, going into the playoffs and being ready, it's that 19 team.
And that team
So,
they've got a setup at this Dover track.
yeah.
So I'm curious to see now that we're going to transition back to the oval, guys that like Larson has just had the worst time lately. Denny just maybe had the worst day of his life in the Cup Series this past weekend. He somehow was the worst day at Sonoma that he's ever had, and like the last time we were at Sonoma, he wrecked in like the first 3 laps.
Yeah.
So how did he have a worse day somehow? You know what I mean?
But it's just on a lot of the road courses this year. I mean, aside from Chicago, surprisingly enough,
Right.
it has been like it was a crap run because if I remember right, it was I think not the first road case that would have been Coda, but second road race of the season.
Yep.
That was the one where Denny's engine blew up. I think on the first lap,
Right.
and then there was the next week where he got dumped right afterwards. So
Right.
I mean,
Right. Yeah. So Denny's looking forward to anything other than road course races. We've got some couple good tracks here. We got Dover coming up. We got Indianapolis coming up. And then we're gonna kind of get towards that push through August. We're gonna go to that Darlington race. It's gonna be sick.
Yes.
Once I get some money. Little off talk joke, but anyways, no, I'm excited and it's gonna be fun, and I'm really curious to see how this 88 team races now that they're like third when it comes to playoff points. Do they do some interesting strategies to grab some stage races and stage wins and little weird things like that, right? Do they throw strategies out there to maybe finish a little bit higher than they would, knowing, hey, we don't even have to go for the win? Because right now, he's got 3 wins, and it realistically could be a scenario where SVG has the most wins in Cup going into the playoffs.
Yeah.
If he wins the Glen, it's 4. It's crazy to me, and it's good. It's been a good excursion. I do wish we kind of separated this out. It definitely has been weird to be at like 3 road course races and 5 races. The last time we saw a driver win 3 out of 5 races was Busher. Remember that? It was like Richmond,
Yeah.
Dega, and was it Michigan or I can't remember what it was, but now SVG's doing it. Unreal. And just to kind of settle that discussion is just straight up like he's the best road course racer that NASCAR has ever seen. It's a match made in heaven of car, driver, skill, and he's doing it against the most competitive road course racing era of NASCAR. You could say back then with Gordon and Stewart and Marcus Ambrose, got it. I don't think
that's the closest that's been there, but
right.
It's not what it is right now.
Right, it's close for sure, but I think SVG is still winning races against that crowd in those cars. So,
I think there's other guys that are like running in Cup right now that would give those guys runs for their money.
I think Bell.
I think the game has evolved at this point. Yeah,
Elliott,
exactly.
Shout
I
out
think
Elliott.
Byron does.
Elliott's
even Reddick could. Chase Elliott could. Yeah.
Yeah, Elliott real consistent. Has been real sharp, and I think now that the win is off their back a little bit, I think their season looks a lot more promising than maybe it was before. But he was just on a big losing streak per se. So the 9 looks good.
I've got a question for you now, like rolling in, because I did want to touch on the in-season challenge.
Oh, Ty Dillon.
Because you had a bit of a moment there. Your boy, Alex Bowman,
choked it away.
Had a moment with Dylan going there. How did you feel about Bowman's exit from the in-season challenge on Sunday?
It's Bowman's fault. I don't care if Ty Dillon intentionally wrecked him, which he arguably said he just did. I don't care.
Right.
Respectfully, in a track like Sonoma, in the 48, in a Hendrick car, with no real damage, like you weren't spun out, you didn't have anything crazy happen, why are you riding around with the 10?
Yeah.
Why are we riding around with the 10? Why is Ty Dillon even near you? So, as far as I'm concerned, dude, you brought that on yourself by being close enough for Ty Dillon to break you. That's on you. So, where's Team Ty Dillon? For the rest of the
Well,
thing,
dude, right now it's weird. There's two Toyotas going in that are going head to head for a spot in the finals, and I'm rooting for Ty Dillon in the in-season challenge because he's the one because he's the one that beat Denny. So like
brother,
I've said
my brother,
ever since that
there
first
are
week, I was like, it's gonna
three.
happen. Let's go Ty.
There are 3 Toyotas in the final 4, and you are
Oh,
going for
Nemechek,
Ty Dillon,
yes,
and you are
yes.
going for Ty Dillon. So listen, I'm all for it. And somebody would be like, "Oh, this is shitty for NASCAR." No, it's not. No, it's not. You've got Reddick and Gibbs, who are top Toyota prospects, young guys that are going to go
Yes.
battle it out. That's going to be a race that happens in the front, and then we're going to have eyes on the back, watching, young gun versus vet.
I'm gonna say it's definitely not a bad thing for NASCAR because if your entire idea was to kind of model March Madness and the NCAA tournament, you have a 32 seed
Yes.
potentially getting themselves to the finals. If you're watching the NCAA tournament and
This is
when
George Mason.
if you have like a bottom seed or somebody that was on the bubble like in the first out games and they're on their way to potentially make their way through, they've made it to the final four. When
Right.
we talk about a local story, when I was younger, George Mason did this, like that's not a bad thing. People aren't going, well, college basketball sucks. People are watching to find out if that team's going to get there.
Right.
So, as far as I'm concerned, I can't be the only one that's sitting here watching, like, hi, Dylan, about to crush the field. Is this going to happen?
Dude, give me a Ty Dillon $1 million winner. You know what I mean? This is more fun than the All-Star race. This is more fun than the All-Star race. Genuinely.
Yeah.
So,
and if you're anybody else, like, that's the thing is, like, if you're anybody else in the field and you're complaining, you should have beat them.
We're talking about a pass for, like, the late 20s in a race. You've somehow made that battle exciting. It's a dub for me. It's a complete dub. I'm all for it.
That's why you did it.
Yep, I'm all for it. I'm all for bringing it back. Same thing as the No Bull 5 that they used to have, except it's races long. I'm all for it. We should bring it back in the races, the cash grab and things like that. So
yeah.
But yeah, I think a successful win or a successful weekend at Sonoma. The Cup race, yes, not the most interesting race, but a masterclass race, right? When you have a scenario where like the rest of the race would have been extremely interesting, except for that guy 3 seconds ahead of everybody. Sure, go ahead. But the Sonoma or the Xfinity race might have been the best Xfinity race of the year. Watching a true battle for the win there. That was in a natural battle, not a caution brought them closer together, but two guys just they're gapping the field. They're racing each other and slowing each other down, and they're still faster than the rest of the field. So,
yep,
pretty sick there. So, let's talk about some more virtual racing, why don't we?
Yeah, I'm totally down. You got news about
I got news for you.
Game.
So there was another Q&A with a dev, producer Matt Lewis, and there's some information to talk about, but I'm going to be honest with you, okay? It isn't as good as you think it's going to be. There's some stuff here. Here's what I'm going to dispel a little bit. First of all, I am not concerned that we haven't seen gameplay yet. College football waited until a month before release to drop their gameplay. Most sports titles do this anyways. You're not going to see gameplay till a month out. And especially considering this is a new release, they're going to want to make sure everything's right before they make a mistake. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, college football came out, didn't have a beta last year. And we didn't get hands-on to it until about 2 weeks before it came out. Reading deep dive. So, I'm not concerned about that. They've already said that there's no silly season, right? So because of sponsored issues and legal issues, stuff like that, you're not going to see a scenario where Bubba Wallace is driving the 24 or Denny Hamlin is driving the 6. You know what I mean? Like drivers swapping around. And even worse, you're not going to be driving any of those cars. Yeah, that's rough. But let's go down their list and kind of talk about what they said and kind of some thoughts. So, gameplay trailer is not going to be till late August. And just for reference, I'm pulling this from Teacher Fella on Reddit. He did a little breakdown of some stuff. I have my own notes for it, but I didn't have enough, a lot of things. So I just want to make sure. So shout out to Teacher Fella on Reddit in their comment, kind of breaking these things down. This was damning to me. I did not like this phrase to hear from them. We are not trying to make iRacing on console. I didn't like hearing that. Now, granted, he might have been talking about multiplayer. He might have been talking about... But for me, iRacing is the closest... I mean, it is an incredible feel. And if the console guys can get a feel of what that is... And when I say... I mean, difficulty matters. And for what it's worth, this is what they did mention, Jeff. They said it's not going to be a scenario where you choose your difficulty of easy, medium, hard, or expert. He said there are pages of sliders that you can adjust from 0 to 100. And you can dial in exactly what you want. And I imagine that's things like tire wear. That's things like aggressiveness. That's things like fuel management. That's things like all of your various settings and skills. So if you want to make it, they did say if you want to make it extremely difficult, you can.
Yeah.
And if you want to make it as easy as you want, you can. But for me, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I have a different perspective on that, I think. Honestly. Right. Like, I don't cringe when I hear him say that.
Right.
I really don't, because that's not what I'm buying this for. That's not what I want. If I wanted to do that, I'd go.
Right.
I mean, we've had discussions like this before.
So here's where I don't like it versus I understand. I don't think you can bring... Well, again, when iRacing, it takes months for people to get on and to be able to run races. I don't like that, and I don't want that, right? I know where I can go to get that. That's perfectly fine, okay? But these are some things that I hope they didn't mean when they said this. Tire management, tire model, okay? The amount of times, the biggest lesson I learned in iRacing was Dover right now. Can I make the turn into Dover just lifting? Absolutely. Absolutely. If you lift early enough and you're conscious about your speed getting into the corner, you can absolutely make the turn with just lifting, no braking. Okay? But you pay for it on the back end. You pay for it in 10 to 15 laps when your tires start wearing. You know what I mean? I don't want an aggressive model, but that feel of, hey, go ahead and pass me. I'll catch you later. You know what I mean? And there being this sense of tire management and fuel management. You know what I mean? Another thing is what I really like about it is what comes with the downsides of the cautions, driving around at pace speed. Guess what? That's the feel. The feel of your adrenaline going up and then down to run your caution laps. And then it picked back up on the restart, and then you're picking back up, and like that matters. Pit road, they said that there's not going to be user control on pit road. So it's going to be you coming down pit road and it automatically controlling you. And yes, is that the biggest deal for like the casual gamer? No. But it is way more immersive to me having to pull into my pit stall. Now, F1's a fun game, and they don't have that. So, cool. Maybe let's make it to where you have to at least get down to pit road speed, otherwise you're speeding. Okay. Cool, that's immersive, like having to get down. But, let's make sure that we still keep the things. I want multiple lines. That's another thing. And for what it's worth, they are bringing their scan track. But, let there be a high lane. But if you run the high lane at Kansas the whole time, you're going to kill more tire. So be fast for the first stint. But those guys that were patient, that arced into the corner, hit the bottom, apexed out, they saved their time. That's what I want to see. I don't want it to necessarily be extremely hard for you there on the controller. And your slider should be able to help you control that car. But it should be like F1 in a way that the assist will make a struggling driver better. But the assist will make a great driver worse because they're held back by those limits. And F1 does a good job at that in a way. So I do think that I want to see that in a way. So again, if all of he's saying is we're not trying to replicate that experience, but that's fine. I'm not expecting that, but I do want wheel support that's better than heat. And they did mention full wheel pedal support, but the focus is making the game fun on the controller and to feel that finesse on all the difficulties. And that's what they said. So that's good news for you, but as long as I can feel the bumps of the track, the force feedback, that's immersive enough for me, right?
Yeah.
So They mentioned using Racing Insights. Racing Insight is like the history and data collection behind all the facts that you see on broadcasts and stuff. And they said they're using Racing Insights for driver ratings, and they said it's going to be track specific and tendency specific. So, for example, Kyle Larson at Homestead, you're going to see him on the high lane, and he's going to be more likely to be up front. He's going to qualify better. He's going to be better because it's a better track for him. Historically, we've seen stats that are only to types of track and nothing about their tendencies. So cool.
Right.
I'm all for using that. It's like that next gen data for the NFL, but using it for how they're going to race.
Right.
So cool there. Junior is said to do the Dale Jr. podcast that follows your career. So there's supposed to be little episodes of the Dale Jr. podcast where Dale is talking about you and your career mode.
That's cool. I think that's an awesome idea.
I think that's a cool idea.
As long as it doesn't get repetitive.
So they mentioned, the guy that was talking about, he used to work at EA. He mentioned that when they would have guys come in and do those pre-recorded things, it used to be like, he said no shade, but they used to treat it like another media assignment. Go up, do their thing, voila, and they're out. They said they have to literally, like, Dale's team has to pull him out of these meetings. They said, like,
I love that.
They said they had to pull him out, and he's like, 10 more minutes, and we can go do our thing. I'm talking to the NASCAR guys, to the game guys. So I trust Dale. So I do think that that's going to be a cool aspect of it. Race days. Everything is from the driver's perspective. So they said pre-race, driver's perspective. It's not going to be like a broadcast comes in and then it cuts to you in the car taking the green. He said, you're going to get up there, you're going to talk to people on the team. You're going to be walking through the garage. When you do the national anthem, there's a flyover. You're doing it from the perspective of standing on pit road next to your car. Probably being able to control your head. Like, I'm cool. I'm cool with that.
I have kind of wondered if we were ever, like, one of the things that we don't really get or haven't, like, even in, like, classic NASCAR games, so I don't really know if it's ever, I don't know how well you'd implement something like this. You don't really get, like, the commentary and the broadcast feel within that, because it's kind of hard. Like, if you're trying to do immersion, you're not really going to get that when you're, I'm controlling this car and now here's a NASCAR here's a Mike Joy, or like somebody in the background, like, barking out about race moves.
I'll tell you exactly how you can do it. That'll make you feel like, oh shit, this is cool. Hey, Brandon, this is Clint in the booth. Do you copy?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine racing under caution, and you're like, why is it showing me under caution? And then a menu comes up, and then you get to reply through your, through the text.
Dialogue options.
You get dialogue options, and things like that. And depending on what you choose versus how you finish, if it says, we're looking to get aggressive here, yada, 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 it says gain 5 positions in 5 laps.
That would be a nice touch, yeah.
Right, based off of your response to things. And if you do that, then, okay, that works towards things. Give me things that I have to, in race goals type deal, maintain position, type deal. Or if it's, beginning of the race or at the end of the race or whatever. So say you do an interview on a media day, like that's how you get that aspect into the race and into everything, is make me feel like I'm a driver. And then when I say things, make me back them up. And if I back them up, there's, a boost in that realm. So I don't think that they said anything about that being there, but that would be sick. Like, imagine you get that like real radio thing in there and you're getting to talk to the broadcast and all the fans. You think all the fans are coming out there, or you think your sponsor? Do you think your fans or think your sponsor? Do you think your things? And you're doing it in the moment of the race. That feels way better than being in a menu. And in the menu, it's like, do you want press A to say hi to your fans? No, I want to say I'm going to get aggressive here. Like, all right, what's your plan here on the restart? Our goal is to really just ride around, keep this track position. All right, maintain your position for 3 laps. Do not lose 3 positions over the next 3 laps. Got it. Cool.
Right. Well, so here's another thing too that you can go that would tie in with that same thing. Give me a similar type of deal as far as a storyline that we're trying to follow with a race with my crew chief. If I'm getting like, give me the ability to say like, hey, to tell me something about like what I'm feeling with the car with the crew chief and see if like some kind of an adjustment happens. Or if my crew chief is coming back and telling me, hey, you need to save tire, or hey, we're trying to save fuel on this. And can I be difficult for the sake of trying to really gun out a win?
Yeah.
Or do I, follow it straight to the letter and develop more team chemistry?
Yep.
Do I do something a little bit more that builds me a little more fanfare? Like
Right.
different consequential actions. Obviously, I don't want the whole game to become dialogue boxes, but like one or two erased from different things like that could be kind of cool.
I mean, yeah, that, and again, I say this, if you're going to have a scenario where there's punishments for what you make decisions on, and it says that you're going to run a career mode, you're going to own the team that you're driving for, you're going to have to make those decisions, right? Which sucks because there's no teammates and you don't. Yeah, that's where I don't like it. You have to own the car at every level. You have to start at ARCA, which I don't hate, but in Truck, Xfinity, and Cup, you're going to be the owner, which I think kind of kills the immersion a bit for me. But anywho, I do think a scenario where it's like, because you didn't put money into QA or research and development or testing, as a result, you're more likely to have a random event occur. And that random event could be you're literally driving and then a flat tire, and now you're a couple laps down. Or because you didn't practice pit stops this week, maybe you had a slow pit stop or a loose slug or something like that. Or a rotor fails, like car failures, and the engine just dies. Like while it would feel frustrating, and people like, why do I want this random thing? Dude, that is NASCAR. How many times have you heard Ryan Blaney exploding in anger because the car exploded this year, like early in the year? Like, give me that. Like, again, don't let it be story mode. Don't crack me down a story mode. I don't want it to feel forced. I want to be in the middle of it, and the reason it occurred is because the random rice stole, I rolled a nat 1, and this scenario, maybe four times a race, a dice gets rolled, and if you land on a 3 or less, you have a part failure. 4 times random, and the more that you put towards your team, the better. Like literally, let me feel that in a natural way, and no pun intended in that way. But like let that happen, and I think that would matter. So, but we'll get there. Updated rules package. So there are going to be stages. There's not going to be the multiple tire sets, like short track tires and the things like that. It's just going to be the one tire. Yeah. But they did say that that's involved in the long term. He said all cars feel different, so ARCA won't race the same as Truck, Xfinity, or Cup. And if it is like the iRacing, then that's great. Xfinity feels way more out of control. The Cup feels a lot more snug. The Truck is probably the most fun to drive. You're wide open more often and kind of flying, and then the ARCA cars are like the mini Cup cars, if you will. So, no local multiplayer, though. I'm not gonna lie, not that many people are playing split screen these days. Anyways, I get for the folks that do, and I feel bad for you, but like it's 2025. Like nobody's playing split screen local multiplayer. Private lobbies, yes. Special event lobbies and tournaments, yes, but no like broadcasted spectator mode to do like a broadcast for a league. So,
but that is that's like it will have leagues, but you're not going to have spectator viewing yet. Mm-hmm. So you kind of have to DIY that.
Yeah, and
so you'd have to stream it,
right? And no in-game leagues. Like it's not tracking your league in-game. You're gonna have to track it outside. That's how they've done it.
Okay. I thought league support.
Yeah, so it says
we're doing that.
Yeah, no spectator viewing in the features bucket. No league admin tools this year, but also in plan. So, listen, online league in the future, that's a plus, but you got to win people. The problem is you need to win people over now with something big, and I hope that their big is worth it because right now their big is missing a lot of key features. Not being able to go up and drive in one of the top Cup rides is certainly a decision.
Yeah. Like that's being able to play as your favorite driver it seems kind of elementary.
Yeah, it's like saying, hey, you're gonna play Madden this year, but you have to do a team builder team, and all of the players on your team have to be fake made players, and you're not allowed to trade for Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, that one is puzzling to me because like what is I don't know, that seems strange.
I don't blame iRacing and those guys. I blame NASCAR and the sponsors.
I do too, because it's kind of like you're gonna not be like that feels like a soft thing for me, I guess. Like, and I think they're just trying to be cautious to avoid for when this hits streaming. Like, that's the thing that makes this kind of unprecedented
Yeah.
compared to the past NASCAR games, is that in, Thunder in 2004, you didn't have streams with, thousands and thousands of people watching, where you could have like a bunch of different like changes to sponsorships and stuff like that. At the same time, you may be going a little
Right.
that kind of thing. I can understand, like, you not going and making like anti versions of sponsor cars. Like, you have a problem with like a specific sponsor that's like heavy with NASCAR,
Right.
and you going and making some kind of derogatory scheme.
Right.
I can
Right.
understand that, but
Well, they said there is going to be a paint booth. So you will be able to, it looks like, customize your car. So maybe there's an in-game sponsor, but you don't care what it looks like.
how long do you think it takes before people are just designing their favorite driver liveries? I mean,
Oh, I don't care. Yeah, and it seems like they don't mind that because they can do that, right? You can do the livery thing because what we're doing is we're not providing. You're making it in the game.
yeah,
MLB does that, right? MLB The Show, their
right,
custom paint, and Forza does that. It doesn't look like there's anything that the sponsors have. I think the issue is the sponsors don't want to see. They want to see their driver in their car. They don't want to see. They want to see
right.
Denny and FedEx. They don't want to see, anywhere else or. So it's just, come on. Do you not realize? Like, do you not realize this is your opportunity? I did you. Nobody
fun.
watches commercials. But if somebody falls in love with the progressive car because they got the progressive scheme when they took over the 17 cars, so now they're driving the 17 car in a progressive scheme, and now they like progressive. Like, I am more likely to fall in love with my sponsor in the car in the game and actually abide by that than to ever watch a commercial and give a shit about that car. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
exactly.
I genuinely, you know what I'm saying? I still ick walking into a Home Depot, and I'm 32 years old.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I still get the ick walking into a Home Depot. If there is a Lowe's nearby, I go there. And
Right.
and let's be real, I'm not a man. I don't go to those places a lot. But anyways, they said they said there's a Dirt to Daytona type field of career. So like your ARCA garage is gonna be like in a broken barn type deal versus your Cup garage would be nice. But here's the thing: if it's interactive, great. If it's not interactive, it's just a background photo, dog. Make it matter. Make it matter. Don't give me a huge team facility as a background image and I can't even walk around.
Let me go and explore it.
Dude, where's the trophies from my wins displayed out in the hallways?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not a little.
You're in the broken garage. Make me fight off the stray dogs from chewing up my car parts.
Give me a mini game.
Let's go.
Give me a whack-a-rat mini game, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
They said there's turning points, and you're just like, while working on your ARCA engine, a snake came out of the carburetor. You know what I mean? Are you gonna fight him off? Is he poisonous or not poisonous? You know what I mean? So like,
am I fixing the brakes or am I hiring an exterminator? Like, come on, guys. Like, let's get the realism going.
You didn't make it
to the immersion.
You didn't make it to the race because you spent money on brakes instead of gas for your hauler. Let's see. Career mode will let you hire staff, focus on R&D, yada yada yada. Again, we've seen this before in career mode. Make it unique or make it matter. That's how I really feel.
Right. So yeah, put substance behind that, because that's one thing that got me, is that, like, don't give me features that you're going to claim are going to matter and have them just be hollow. Because this is another place where the motorsports games versions of this game failed miserably among so many other ways.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the ways that they really failed super hard, there were things where it's like, it felt like they had ideas, but they never actually fleshed them out to be anything. You'd be racing in a career mode and you'd end up like meeting some rival because you bumped somebody in a race or whatever, which also those attitudes and stuff like that changed on a dime, but they didn't mean anything. They didn't change anything about how the AI raced you.
Right.
It didn't lead to any other outside of the race stuff.
Right. Right.
It just, this person was grumpy with you or some weird crap like that. Like,
Right.
give me some substance to the things that you're saying. Like, I love the ideas and things that you're coming up with, like that sound cool. Make them more than just sound cool. Like, give
Yeah.
me something that is tangible within the game that makes them make sense. Make it part of the game. Otherwise, get rid of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think. I mean, there's a lot of. It just sucks because one of the things he kept saying was opportunity cost, and it was just like, oh, great. Like he was like, we got to run a business, and I was just like, oh, great. Like, granted, they were saying, hey, we're trying to lay the foundations and make this a good racing thing. Okay. I just hope they take the training wheels off. We are in the highest like level of gaming that we have ever been in. Okay, the games do not need to feel like the way Heat has felt because Heat had like there's nothing to driving Heat. There's literally nothing to driving in those tracks. Well, what's crazy is super speedways don't even feel like super speedways. Mile and a
No.
halves are kind of okay. You're just kind of lifting a little bit in the corner and getting back on the throttle with almost like no. It just doesn't feel like it. Short tracks are damn near impossible because with the controllers, braking was abysmal.
Yep.
Right. And road courses were road courses, right? At that point, I didn't even try road courses in Heat because it was just an abysmal time to drive with a controller. The wheels obviously will help as long as it kind of drives well and has feedback. I think that matters. You know, I should get information. I feel like they need to find a way to get information into the controller so you know when the rear's coming around and yeah. But take the training wheels off of response. Again, the controller will never be optimal for a oval racing game. It is for like the F1 a little bit because of the way that the turns are, but like
Yeah.
with the ovals and how you have to hold the stick, like again, like really when you get into a corner, it's just like it's like counter steering. You know what I mean? It's a lot more counter
Yep.
steering into some of these turns, and I'm turning right, you know, and as I go into the like that's the thing is like when I run iRacing, I feel this. I'll say, hey, listen, I'm at the middle of the corner here. If I want to get the car rotated, I need to get more gas into it. And then that brings the rear around, and I'm using my right, turning it right. Like, these are not hard concepts that people need to learn. And you can have assists that help with those things and limit the tire wear as a result of being a little bit more erratic on the wheel. That's okay, fine. You can even those things out. But, like, make tracks have 2 lanes is what I really want. Make tracks have 2 lanes,
Yes.
right? Right now, when we go do Homestead on Heat, there's no high lane. It's just
With that, so that's a great point. Please don't make a high lane at all costs, no matter what, no man's land.
right.
Like, that's just non-existent in a lot of the older games, and you don't really have the ability to like run that kind of stuff. And I think that's so ridiculous.
Right.
Like, Kyle Larson is making a living off of finding high lines at a lot of tracks that other drivers aren't touching. Give me the opportunity to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. If I can do it and go in there. And the downside is this: console racing games don't give themselves or that they're trying to save people from what is the number one thing that gets you good at racing game, which is practice. Practice. So
Yeah.
I'm very curious to see if, you know, we mentioned this before, if they make practice matter in any capacity. I think the way F1 kind of does it, where you go out there, you're learning the lap, but you're having to do these objectives and stay within this, save this much fuel. Again, find ways to make that to where there's a benefit on race day. So if you want a raw dog qualifying in the race, go ahead. But if you want multipliers that help your fuel, get your fuel down to the exact, you know, get your fuel information, get it down to the exact 3-lap window of your fuel versus maybe a 5-lap window. You had to go out there and do a little thing. Okay, that helped you. And that's just naturally going to make you better at driving. While you think you're just giving yourself a bit of an advantage, you are giving yourself an advantage because the multipliers work better for you. Hey, guess what? You have 10% less tire wear now that you went out and ran a 10-lap stint. You just ran 10 laps without wrecking. And guess what? You have 10 to 15%, maybe even 20% because you have a special employee who specializes in tire wear.
To the same point about lines, like now that you actually dedicated time to practice, you know that you can actually gain some speed by running on an outside lane.
Right.
You know that like you have like a bet like you know some different aspects of the track that you weren't going to know before, that it's like implanted knowledge, right? It's like
Yeah.
all of a sudden like you have a little bit more speed going through different parts of the track, or you have a little bit of boost coming through the straights,
Yeah.
or like hitting some of the corners or something like that, because you spend a little extra time in practice. Like give me some actual rewards for putting the time in, and don't make it
Dude,
something that I need to skip every time.
dude, give me a pre-brief from my crew chief about the track or the spotter. You guys got all this
Yeah.
stuff. I have never loaded into a video game. It's like, hey, listen, when we get out there, you're sitting in there in the car. And it's like, hey, before you go ahead and take out there, remember, this is Dover, okay? Biggest thing you need to think about is coming on these exits. There's those big bumps. Make sure we're not too big on the throttle on exit there. Otherwise, we might car hop, get a bunch of revs while the rear tires are off the ground.
Yep.
And lose control. Or you're going to get real tight. Hey, we're real loose off of the corner here. So, make sure you're kind of like little tidbits that are in your ear that are just going to naturally make you better. Like those are things
Absolutely.
that can be pre-recorded in the game. Maybe,
Yep.
hey, listen, Gen 4 at Charlotte. Hey, listen, you really might want to think about downshifting into the corners here. Just a quick blip into the downshift, cool. And if you're going to drive manual, you drive manual. If you don't, then you don't even have to worry about it type deal. You know what I mean? Just little advice like that. Hey, higher lane here is going to kill a little bit of tire, but you're going to be quicker. You're going to be quicker if you can keep that car rotated and up to higher speeds. But if you want to keep that tire as best you can, make sure you get it down to that low lane. I don't even care if there's like an apex little marker, a little thing that pops up. And while you're driving, it's like, hey, we got to save 5 laps of fuel here. Maybe you make a decision with your crew chief. Crew chief comes up, says, hey, we're about 5 laps short of fuel here. Can you save me, or whatever on this run, can you save me 3 laps? And you say, if you press A to accept or, X to ignore it, right? Like, nah, I'm going to push. If you accept it, a little thing pops up. And if you're under a certain mile per hour at the apex, which means you were slow enough and say, then you get a little bit, like, I don't know how to make it not arcadey, but like use this game as an opportunity to teach people how to drive NASCAR. Don't make it easy to drive NASCAR and I don't mean iRacing. I just mean
by default.
Let's just not baby people, right?
Yeah.
And then if they're
don't
struggling,
make it simple by default, and I have to seek out a challenge.
All right, you have to go find or where it's like your sliders just make like the lap times pick up by a full second.
Yeah.
You're just like, God damn, I can't, like on the hardest difficulties, I can't even go catch up to anybody. But I don't think I'll feel too bad about that, obviously, with the experience of iRacing. I just hope that if I can get 60% of what I feel in iRacing through the hardest sliders and the things, I will be a happy man. I don't think that's impossible to accomplish. So as long as I keep that wheel support. Again, I'm not expecting the full feedback that you get from the thing. There's a lot of different things, but I mean, the feedback in NASCAR isn't even that crazy. You're just listening for tire wear, and you're just getting a feel for when that car's coming around on you. So,
yeah.
But interesting news, more to follow. They said they're probably going to drop a release date within the next week or so, and they'll have a gameplay trailer August. So I'm excited to see what happens, but just a little, I would say one of the most discouraging things about that interview is his tone. Whatever they didn't do, they didn't get a guy that helped sell it. A lot of his stuff kind of came across as
tempering expectations.
Yeah, not a big fan of that. Felt like if, this is your chance. Not that it's just NASCAR just hasn't had a good game in a decade. And
yeah.
So as long as
they
it's not
know
a
that the
mess,
expectations are high.
Yeah.
So I can understand wanting to, try and give people a realistic understanding. It's just you have to be delicate with that so that you're not selling people, that you're not selling in the other direction.
Yeah. And they haven't released any other unique game modes, but I'm curious if they have fun game modes, relive those moments of the past. Stay as far away from any kind of ultimate team as you possibly can, but online game modes, like they said, if there's tournaments and stuff like that, we'll find ways to have fun, but dedicated learning practice type thing that's going to help people. Like that makes you want to get up and actually try it. So
that's going to be a big one, is like make the training fun, make the tutorials something that are worth playing to actually get a little bit more insight and give yourself a head start when you play.
Yep. So
yeah,
shall we
have expectations.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We want a good one. So shall we do our Dover
Yeah.
picks here and get up out of here? We talked for a bit. We're only a little bit over
Yeah.
our normal time.
Yeah. I'm ready for that one. I think we're
I'm excited.
I'm excited for Dover. I'm excited to I'm excited more than anything to go and get rained out at Dover, which has been a previous experience numerous times. But I'm also like haven't been to a race yet this year, so I'm really looking forward to when we get down to Darlington. But
Sick.
yeah, so I'm ready to go for that. I'm excited. I think it's going to be fun to transition from these road courses to jump right down into a mile track.
Yep.
So I think that's going to be a fun transition for a lot of guys. I'll go first,
Okay.
just for jollies. You're gonna like my pick on this one. I think Alex Bowman this week
He ain't bad at
makes.
Dover.
I think he takes the you know pseudo frustration from last week and some of the other issues that he's had,
Mm-hmm.
along with the momentum and speed that he's had in different moments and aspects this season. I think he puts it together, and the 48 team finds a way at Dover.
I can't tell you how much I hope you win Victory Lane this week. You know, I can't tell you how much I want you to win, brother. I'm gonna go with the 12.
Okay.
I think Blaney's been quick. I think this is a style of track. I think that they can find some speed. I don't know what his track record is, but I'm feeling good about that 12 car. He's been kind of sneaky good within all this kind of road course stint stuff. Obviously running into a lot of chaotic issues, but I'm gonna go him. And I think we're saving the 19 for Corey. It's a match made in heaven. A driver that's doing well. I mean, obviously he could choose whoever he wants, but I didn't want to take the 19 for that. But that's gonna be an interesting matchup. They love that track. They're good at that track. I don't know what Briscoe's track record is at Dover, but he's driving the wheels off it, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I think we're gonna.
Wrap it up.
Yeah, I think this one's gonna be fun. Like, so you got Blaney, I got Bowman, meaning you're gonna forget that you picked Blaney. If Blaney wins, you're gonna forget that he won. But that's that's just par for the on the Intentional Wreck podcast
As
and generally
always.
go. But that is going to wrap things up for us this week. Thank you all for tuning in. Please make sure you check us out on YouTube and Spotify and Twitch under the name Intentional Wreck. You can find us on the socials at IntWreckPod. That's at IntWreckPod. Please like, share, subscribe, especially over on YouTube. Please hit that subscribe button for us. We'd love to be able to broadcast to you live through Twitch and through YouTube and expand our footprint and have the ability to get out there. That would be fantastic. And please make sure you go and check out the Moonlight Racing League. Nice with Finn doing commentary. That's been fun. I love the clips, and I look forward to getting some more highlights from the next race next week. Other than that, y'all have a lovely night. We'll catch you next week. Enjoy Dover.